All right, guys, Icom 775 DSP. Obviously, this is a HF rig. Was the top of the line rig in its heyday. Very expensive, around $4,500 MSRP, I believe. High output on sideband, 200 plus watts PEP. AM it does around 125, 130. All kinds of gadgets with it. Obviously, you've got every kind of feature you could dream of on the radio, and probably a lot of features that a lot of people will never use. One of my favorites being the preamp and attenuator. You can do a lot with that. There's your attenuator. You can hear it kicking in over here. Just a lot of stuff you can do with these, and they're not a bad sounding radio on AM if you want to run them on AM as well. They do shine on sideband, but they do sound okay on AM. This one's up for sale. It may be sold locally. I'm going to make somebody a killer deal on this thing. I believe what's a killer deal on it? Used, they go for $1,200 to $1,500, and we're going to be in the kind of half that price ballpark. Obviously, if I have to ship it, shipping is going to be expensive because it is heavy, and for me to properly pack it and box it, it's going to be a little costly. So I'll probably end up double boxing it if I have to ship it. Issues with the radio. Nothing is really jumping out at me. The display on these does flicker a little bit. From what I've read, that's a common issue that can be solved. It's got either a bad solder connection or a loose connection on the inside. I believe it's on one of the transformers or something. I'd have to reread it to give you guys the full rundown on that. But it does flicker just a little bit. Never goes completely out. But what I've read is that's like a 5-minute fix on these. So I just want to give everybody a heads up and be pretty transparent about that. Also, it's not doing it right now, and I haven't been able to get it to do it for a long time. But when I first turned it on, I could hear it clicking a little bit, and I think it was the attenuators. If you guys can hear how that clicks when I turn that, I think where this hadn't been changed or hadn't been moved in a while, it was either the attenuation trying to kick in or the antenna tuner, which you can hear it, a little relay engage when you click it as well. But it hasn't done it again, so it may do it very well while we're running this video, and if it does, we'll just keep the video going so you guys can see it. But I haven't been able to get it to do it in about 30 minutes. To show you guys that the preamp works, I am going to key up a radio in the background. This is with it off. About 7-ish units. And this is with both preamps on, dual preamp. About 15-ish units. So I do love the dual preamp feature. My Icom 7700's got it, and I actually used it last night to pull a guy in. Let's get down to the output test of it. Obviously, that's one of, if not the most important things. We just got the RF power wide open, got the mic gain wide open. They do sound decent on AM. If you want to run one of these on AM, I definitely suggest upgrading the mic. They do sound okay with this mic, but I would suggest upgrading to something a little bit better. We've got a 500 watt slug in our meter over here. We're going to go to PEP. Audio check. 1 2 1 2. Audio check. 1 2 1 2. Audio middle scale. So around what, 125 or so. Audio. 125 watts PEP. And then just to show you guys how much we're dead keying. About 65 to 70 watts. So a little bit less than 100% modulated. And as I tell you guys, HF rigs, they will back up on AM, on average. Check, 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 check. You can see it backs up just a little bit. Probably not as bad as some of the other ones. But because it's not a full, because of the percentage of modulation, it's dead keying 60 watts, swinging 125. It is going to back up just a little bit on a AM on average power, if you use average power to measure output. Okay, so sideband, we'll go back to peak, show you guys how much it does on sideband, and wrap it up here. Audio, check 1 2 3, audio, check 1 2 3, and there you guys can see well over 200 watts PEP on sideband. So keep that in mind. If you're going to run this thing into an amp, you need an amp that can handle some pretty good output if you're buying this thing for sideband. But well over 200 watts and not acting up, not cutting a rug. Falls back down when we're talking on it, so no erratic noises or anything like that. Check, check, check. Audio, check, check. Audio. audio. There's our meter on the front. Hello. And it's actually showing about 245 PEP. And the bird is showing about 225 or so. So that's it, guys. Again, this one may be sold, but I always like to do videos on stuff like this. You know, it's not an amplifier, but it is a higher end kind of item. And like to be transparent about it. You see the display is not really flickering now. Could just be one of those things where it hasn't been ran in a while. Because it seems like the more I use it, you know, the display is not acting up. And whatever was trying to engage hasn't done it for 35 or 40 minutes now. And I do believe it was related to the preamp and attenuator section. Because again, you hear that little click. That's what it was doing. You could hear it clicking a little bit, but since I worked this switch back and forth, hasn't done it one time. That's it, guys. Just Icom 775 DSP. If it doesn't sell, it'll be on the website, roostercb.com. Appreciate it, everybody. Rooster in Tennessee. See you, bye.